There exists within you a truth so fundamental, so pristine in its simplicity, that the very act of remembering it transforms everything. This truth whispers beneath the noise of your daily concerns, beneath the endless chatter of a mind trained to believe in limitation. It speaks a language older than words, more certain than logic, more real than the solid ground beneath your feet. You deserve abundance simply by being alive. This is not a reward you must earn through suffering, nor a prize reserved for the worthy few. This is your birthright, written into the very fabric of existence itself. Yet somewhere along the journey of becoming human, we learn to forget. We learn to measure our worth by external achievements, to gauge our deserving by the approval of others, to believe that abundance is scarce and must be fought for, hoarded, defended against an uncertain world. Take a moment now to feel the rhythm of your breath. Notice how it flows without your permission, without your effort, without any proof of worthiness on your part. Your heart beats approximately 100,000 times each day, circulating life through your being with the same generous precision that moves the planets in their orbits. The cells of your body regenerate themselves continuously, creating new life from the quantum field of pure potential that surrounds and fills you. This is abundance in action. This is the universe saying yes to your existence, moment by moment, breath by breath. The very atoms that compose your physical form were forged in the heart of ancient stars. You are literally made of stardust, carrying within your being the memory of cosmic creation itself. How then could you be anything less than abundant? How could the universe, which invested billions of years in bringing you into existence, consider you unworthy of its gifts? The question itself reveals the absurdity of our learned unworthiness. Yet we have been conditioned to see ourselves as separate, isolated beings competing for limited resources in a hostile world. We have forgotten that we are expressions of the same infinite field of consciousness that creates galaxies and orchestrates the precise dance of subatomic particles. We have forgotten that abundance is not something we acquire from outside ourselves, but something we allow to flow through us by remembering our true nature. Notice where in your body you feel tension as you consider the possibility of unlimited abundance flowing into your life. Perhaps there is a tightening in your chest, a constriction in your throat, a clenching in your stomach. These physical responses are the body's way of showing you where old beliefs about scarcity have taken residence in your cellular memory. Breathe gently into these spaces. With each exhale, allow these contractions to soften, creating room for the truth of your abundant nature to emerge. The quantum field that physicists describe as the source of all material reality is not empty space, but a plenum of infinite potential. It is pregnant with possibilities that exist in a state of pure potential until consciousness observes them into manifestation. Each heartbeat offers an invitation to trust more fully in the benevolent intelligence that sustains your existence without any effort on your part. The transformation from scarcity consciousness to abundance consciousness is not about changing your circumstances, though your circumstances will inevitably change as a reflection of your inner transformation. It is about recognizing what has always been true. You are not a separate being trying to acquire abundance from a stingy universe. You are the universe itself, temporarily expressing through individual form, inherently abundant, because abundance is your very nature. As this recognition stabilizes in your awareness, you discover that you do not need to believe in abundance or have faith in it. You simply are it. The question is not whether you deserve abundance, but how consciously you are willing to embody it. How fully are you willing to let the infinite generosity of existence express through your thoughts, words, and actions? How completely are you willing to trust that the same intelligence that created you is also sustaining and guiding you toward the fullest expression of your gifts? Live as if this is true, not as a mental concept or spiritual philosophy, but as the most practical truth you could possibly embrace. Test it in the laboratory of your own experience. Notice what happens when you breathe as if you are breathing infinite possibility. Observe what shifts when you speak as if your words carry the creative power of consciousness itself. Feel what opens when you act as if you are an agent of the universe's own limitless generosity. The proof of these truths will not come through argument or analysis, but through the direct experience of living them. As you embody abundance consciousness more fully, you become a demonstration of what is possible for every human being. Your life becomes a gift to the world, evidence that we are all far more than we have been taught to believe, far more abundant than we have dared to dream, far more connected to the source of all prosperity and joy than our cultural conditioning would have us remember. This is your invitation, not to believe anything I have shared, but to discover for yourself the truth that lives in the depths of your own being. You are abundance itself, temporarily pretending to be a human being seeking abundance. The game is over. The search is complete. You have found what you were looking for because you have remembered that you are what you were seeking. Now, the only question is, how will you celebrate this remembering? How will you share this abundance? How will you live this truth? You are not separate from this field. You are this field, temporarily expressing itself through the apparent boundaries of skin and personality. When you truly understand this, you realize that abundance is not something you lack, but something you are. The ancient wisdom traditions understood this profound truth. They spoke of consciousness as the ground of all being, the unchanging awareness in which all experiences arise and dissolve. Modern quantum physics has arrived at remarkably similar conclusions through rigorous scientific investigation. Both traditions point to the same revolutionary insight. The observer and the observed are one. You are not a small, separate self looking out at an abundant universe. You are the abundant universe looking out through the temporary lens of individual consciousness. This recognition transforms everything. When you know yourself as consciousness itself rather than as a limited body-mind seeking abundance from the outside, you naturally align with the creative principle that generates endless novelty and abundance throughout the cosmos. You stop asking whether you deserve abundance and start asking how you can best serve as a conduit for the abundance that seeks to express itself through you. The illusion of separation runs deeper than most of us realize. It infiltrates not only our thoughts about money and material resources, but our understanding of health, relationships, creativity, and spiritual fulfillment. We have been taught to see ourselves as isolated islands of consciousness in a vast ocean of unconscious matter. Yet quantum physics reveals a universe that is more like a seamless web of interconnected consciousness, where every particle exists in relationship with every other particle across vast distances of space and time. This phenomenon, which physicists call non-locality or quantum entanglement, demonstrates that separation is a construct of limited perception rather than fundamental reality. When two particles become entangled, they remain connected regardless of the distance between them. A change in one instantaneously affects the other, defying our conventional understanding of space and time. What appears as two separate particles is revealed to be aspects of a single, undivided whole. The same principle applies to your relationship with abundance. What you perceive as separate from yourself, whether money, love, health, or opportunity, is actually another aspect of the same unified field of consciousness that you are. The appearance of separation exists only from the perspective of the small self, the ego mind that identifies with the body and believes itself to be separate from the source of all supply. When you shift your identity from the limited self to the unlimited self, from the wave to the ocean, from the temporary expression to the eternal source, you naturally align with the abundance that is your true nature. This is not positive thinking or wishful fantasy. This is recognizing the factual nature of reality as revealed by both ancient wisdom and modern science. The neural pathways in your brain are constantly being rewired based on your experiences and beliefs. This neuroplasticity means that you are not fixed in patterns of scarcity consciousness. Every time you consciously choose thoughts of abundance, gratitude, and worthiness, you are literally reshaping the physical structure of your brain. You are creating new neural networks that support the flow of abundance into your life. But the transformation goes even deeper than the brain. Recent discoveries in epigenetics reveal that your genes are not your destiny. The expression of your genetic code is influenced by your consciousness, your emotions, your beliefs, and your environment. When you shift from scarcity consciousness to abundance consciousness, you are actually changing the way your genes express themselves. You are rewriting the biological program that governs your experience of life. Your body carries within its cells the memory of every ancestor who struggled to survive, who worried about having enough, who believed that abundance was reserved for others. These cellular memories can create unconscious patterns of self-sabotage, unworthiness, and fear around receiving abundance. Yet the same neuroplasticity and epigenetic flexibility that allowed these patterns to form also makes it possible to transform them. Take 6 slow, conscious breaths now, allowing each exhale to release cellular memories of lack and limitation. With each inhale, invite the remembrance of your abundant nature to permeate every cell of your being. Feel the wisdom of your body beginning to align with the truth of infinite possibility. Your cells are listening, your genes are responding, your entire biological system is reorganizing itself around this new frequency of abundance consciousness. The body is a wisdom tradition unto itself, carrying ancient knowledge about the rhythms of abundance and scarcity, expansion and contraction, giving and receiving. When you learn to listen to its subtle signals, you discover an inner guidance system that knows exactly how to navigate the flow of abundance in your life. The tension in your shoulders may be showing you where you are carrying ancestral patterns of struggle. The tightness in your chest may be revealing beliefs about unworthiness that no longer serve you. As you breathe into these places of holding, you are not only releasing personal limitations, but healing patterns that may have been passed down through generations. This is the profound gift of conscious awakening. Your individual transformation becomes a healing for the entire lineage, both past and future. When you remember your true nature as abundant consciousness, you free not only yourself, but all those who came before and all those who will come after. This alchemical process of transformation happens in the space of pure awareness, the witnessing consciousness that observes all experiences without being changed by them. This awareness is not something you possess. It is what you fundamentally are. It is the unchanging background against which all the dramas of your life play out, the eternal stillness in which thoughts arise and dissolve, the luminous presence that remains constant through every experience of joy and sorrow, abundance and lack. When you recognize yourself as this aware presence, you discover that you have the power to consciously participate in the collapse of quantum possibilities into physical reality. This is not metaphor or wishful thinking. Quantum physics has demonstrated that the act of observation literally determines which of infinite possibilities becomes manifest in the physical world. The famous double-slit experiment reveals that particles exist in a state of pure potential until consciousness observes them into specific form. You are performing this miraculous feat of creation in every moment, though usually unconsciously. Your beliefs, expectations, and emotional patterns are constantly collapsing the infinite field of possibilities into the specific experiences that make up your life. When these unconscious patterns are rooted in scarcity, fear, and unworthiness, they create experiences that reflect and reinforce these limitations. But when you become conscious of this process, you can begin to participate deliberately in the creation of your reality. The quality of your awareness determines the quality of your experience. When your awareness is clouded by anxiety about money, relationships, or health, you are unconsciously selecting from the quantum field those possibilities that match your worried expectations. When your awareness is clear, peaceful, and anchored in the knowing of your abundant nature, you naturally align with possibilities that reflect abundance, love, and well-being. This is the true meaning of intention, not the desperate wanting of the ego mind, but the clear knowing of consciousness itself. When intention arises from the level of pure awareness, it carries the power of the entire quantum field behind it. It becomes what the ancient traditions called sankalpa, an intention so aligned with the fundamental nature of reality that its manifestation becomes inevitable. Place your hand on your heart now and feel the steady rhythm that has been sustaining your life since before you were born. This heartbeat is an intention of life itself, a cosmic sankalpa that chose you into existence and continues to choose you in every moment. Feel the power of this choosing. Feel the unwavering commitment of the universe to your well-being. This is the same power that moves through your conscious intentions when they arise from the depth of your true nature. The electromagnetic field generated by your heart is measurably stronger than the field generated by your brain. This heart field extends several feet beyond your physical body, creating an invisible but detectable sphere of influence that affects everyone and everything in your environment. The coherence or incoherence of this field depends largely on your emotional state, which in turn depends on your deepest beliefs about yourself and your place in the world. When you hold beliefs of unworthiness, lack, and separation, your heart field becomes chaotic and contracted. This energetic signature communicates to the quantum field that you are not ready to receive abundance, that you do not expect good things to flow into your life. The field responds by maintaining the conditions that match your energetic expectation. This is not punishment or cosmic injustice. It is simply the mechanical operation of consciousness creating reality according to its own patterns. But when you truly know yourself as worthy of abundance, simply by virtue of being alive, your heart field becomes coherent and expansive. This coherent field communicates wholeness, readiness, and magnetic receptivity to the quantum field of infinite possibilities. Abundance begins to flow toward you not because you have earned it through struggle, but because you have aligned yourself with the fundamental generosity of existence itself. The beliefs that create these electromagnetic patterns often operate below the threshold of conscious awareness. They were formed in the earliest years of life, when your developing brain was downloading survival information from your family and culture. If the adults around you struggled with money, worried about scarcity, or believed that abundance required sacrifice and suffering, these patterns became encoded in your nervous system as fundamental truths about reality. These inherited beliefs about worthiness and abundance operate like unconscious software programs running in the background of your awareness. They filter your perceptions, influence your choices, and magnetize experiences that confirm their validity. You may consciously desire abundance while unconsciously believing you do not deserve it, creating an internal conflict that sabotages your efforts and reinforces the original belief in unworthiness. Notice what arises in your awareness when you consider the possibility that you are unconditionally worthy of love, prosperity, and joy. Does a part of you immediately present evidence to the contrary? Does an inner voice remind you of your failures, mistakes, or inadequacies? This is not the voice of truth, but the voice of inherited conditioning, trying to maintain familiar patterns of limitation. These voices of unworthiness often carry the emotional signature of past trauma, disappointment, or rejection. They may sound like critical parents, disappointed teachers, or harsh cultural messages about earning your place in the world, but they are not your true voice. They are echoes of old pain that have been mistaken for wisdom, survival strategies that once protected you but now prevent you from receiving the abundance that is your birthright. The deepest wound that most humans carry is the wound of believing themselves to be separate from the source of all abundance. This sense of existential orphanhood creates a desperate hunger for proof of worthiness, a constant striving to earn what can only be received as grace. The healing of this wound does not come through more achievement, more approval, or more evidence of deserving. It comes through the direct recognition of your true nature as the very consciousness in which all abundance arises. When you rest in the knowing that you are not a separate self trying to attract abundance from the outside, but rather the infinite field of abundance itself, temporarily expressing through individual form, the question of worthiness becomes irrelevant. How can abundance be unworthy of itself? How can the ocean question its right to its own water? How can consciousness doubt its capacity to create infinite experiences of fulfillment and joy? This healing happens not through analysis or effort, but through grace, the mysterious process by which recognition dawns in awareness without any doing on your part. You cannot make yourself worthy any more than you can make yourself conscious. You can only remove the obstacles to recognizing what has always been true. You can only allow the veils of false identity to dissolve in the light of direct knowing. Take a moment to write down one inherited story about abundance that you are ready to release. Perhaps it is the belief that money is hard to come by, that abundance requires struggle, or that wanting material prosperity is somehow unspiritual. Write it down and then consciously offer it to the transforming fire of awareness. You are not rejecting your past or judging those who pass these beliefs to you. You are simply choosing to no longer be unconsciously governed by patterns that do not serve your highest good or the highest good of all life. In this space of conscious release, allow yourself to feel the grief of having lived from limitation when abundance was always available. Allow yourself to feel the compassion for all the ways you have diminished your own light in service to inherited patterns of unworthiness. And then allow yourself to feel the joy of remembering who you really are, not a limited being seeking abundance, but unlimited being expressing itself through the beautiful dance of individual form. In the depths of silence lies the creative potency from which all abundance emerges. This is not the silence of emptiness, but the pregnant stillness of infinite possibility waiting to be born. When you enter this silence through meditation, prayer, or simple presence, you are returning to the source code of creation itself. Here, in the gap between thoughts, in the space between breaths, in the pause between heartbeats, the field of pure potentiality reorganizes itself, according to your deepest intentions. Most people fear silence because they have been conditioned to equate it with emptiness or lack of productivity. Yet this silence is the most fertile soil imaginable, the quantum vacuum from which particles spontaneously appear and disappear in the dance of creation. When you learn to rest in this silence without agenda, without the need to fill it with activity or thought, you discover that it is not empty but full of the very essence from which all abundance springs. The ancient meditation masters understood that thoughts are like waves on the ocean of consciousness. The waves are temporary and ever-changing, but the ocean itself remains constant and undisturbed. When you identify with the waves, your desires, worries, plans, and schemes about abundance, you experience turbulence and uncertainty. But when you identify with the ocean itself, with the silent awareness that witnesses all thoughts, you rest in the unshakable peace that is your true nature. From this place of deep rest, intention becomes effortless. You no longer need to force or manipulate circumstances to create abundance. Instead, you simply hold a clear intention in the field of silence and allow the intelligence of the universe to orchestrate the details. This is the difference between struggling and allowing, between pushing the river and flowing with its natural current. Sit quietly now and allow your breath to find its own natural rhythm. Do not try to control or change it. Simply observe the miraculous process by which life sustains itself through you. Notice the natural pause at the end of each exhale, the moment of perfect stillness before the next breath begins. Rest in this pause. This is the space where all miracles are born, where infinite possibility awaits your conscious participation. In this stillness, you may notice that your usual concerns about money, security, and material success begin to fade into the background. This is not because these things are unimportant, but because from the perspective of infinite consciousness, they are seen in their proper context. They are expressions of abundance, not the source of it. They are effects, not causes. When you align with the source, the effects take care of themselves with grace and ease. The multiplication of abundance through silence operates according to principles that transcend ordinary logic. In the realm of linear thinking, 5 loaves cannot feed 5,000 people. But in the realm of consciousness, where intention meets infinite possibility, such multiplication becomes natural law. The key is not to understand how this works with the mind, but to participate in it with total trust and presence. As you learn to live from this field of infinite possibilities, your entire relationship with daily life transforms. Ordinary activities become opportunities for conscious creation. The way you breathe becomes a practice of receiving abundance from the inexhaustible supply of life itself. Each breath is a demonstration that you are constantly being given what you need without having to earn it, prove your worth, or justify your existence. Your morning rituals become sacred ceremonies of alignment with abundance consciousness. As you shower, you might consciously receive the gift of clean water, feeling gratitude for the millions of people and natural processes that made this simple pleasure possible. As you prepare food, you might appreciate the intricate web of soil, sunlight, rain, and human cooperation that brought nourishment to your table. These are not mere positive thinking exercises, but accurate recognitions of the vast abundance that already surrounds and supports your life. The practice of gratitude becomes a quantum technology for amplifying abundance. When you feel genuine appreciation for what already exists in your life, you are sending a clear signal to the field of possibilities that you recognize abundance when it appears. This recognition creates a feedback loop that attracts more experiences worthy of gratitude. Gratitude is not something you do to get more. It is the natural response of consciousness recognizing its own infinite nature, expressing through finite form. Begin to notice the countless gifts that flow to you each day without any effort on your part. The sun rises without your permission, providing the energy that sustains all life on earth. Your heart beats without your conscious control, circulating life force through your entire being. Plants transform carbon dioxide into oxygen, creating the atmosphere that allows you to breathe. These are not metaphors for abundance, they are abundance itself, the constant, unstoppable flow of creative energy that sustains and enriches your existence moment by moment. When you set intentions from this place of already existing abundance, they carry a different quality than desires born from scarcity. Scarcity-based desires carry the energy of desperation, attachment, and fear. They create resistance in the field because they are essentially saying that what exists now is not enough, that you need something external to complete you. Abundance-based intentions carry the energy of joy, expansion, and service. They arise from wholeness rather than lack, and therefore meet no resistance in the field of infinite possibility. Write down 3 specific intentions for your life, but approach this writing as if you are already whole and complete. Let these intentions arise not from what you lack, but from what you would love to express, create, or contribute to the world. Feel the difference in your body between wanting something because you feel incomplete without it and wanting to create something as an expression of your already abundant nature. The most powerful engine for generating abundance is the awakened heart. Not the emotional heart that seeks to get love, but the spiritual heart that knows itself as love. When your heart opens to its true nature, it becomes a magnetic field of such coherence and beauty that abundance flows toward it naturally, effortlessly, inevitably. This is not because the heart is trying to attract anything, but because it has remembered its true nature as the source from which all love and abundance emerge. Love and abundance are not separate phenomena. They are different expressions of the same unified field of consciousness. When you love deeply, whether it is love for a person, love for your work, love for the earth, or love for existence itself, you are aligning with the creative principle that generates endless beauty and abundance throughout the universe. Love is the fundamental force that binds atoms into molecules, molecules into cells, cells into organisms, and organisms into the vast web of life that sustains all existence. The heart that knows itself as love cannot help but give, and in giving it discovers the great secret. The more you give from love, the more abundant you become. This is not a trade or transaction, but a recognition of how consciousness actually operates. When you give from the overflow of your own abundance, you are acknowledging that the source of abundance lies within you, not outside you. This acknowledgement opens the channels for even greater abundance to flow through you. Compassion becomes a form of conscious abundance creation. When you truly see another person suffering and respond with genuine care, you are demonstrating that there is enough love, attention, and kindness in the universe to address all needs. Your compassionate action becomes proof that abundance exists, and this proof magnetizes more experiences of abundance into your life and the lives of those around you. Service transforms from obligation into celebration when it arises from abundance consciousness. You serve not because you should, not because you are trying to earn spiritual merit or social approval, but because service is the natural expression of a heart that knows itself as connected to all life. When you serve from this place, you discover that helping others is actually helping yourself, because at the deepest level, there is no other. Place your hand on your heart and feel the love that is always present there, beneath any temporary emotions or concerns. This love is not something you created or earned. It is what you are made of, the very substance of your being. When you serve from this love, you are literally giving the universe to itself through your individual form. This is why service from love generates such profound abundance. You are participating consciously in the universe's own creative process of giving itself to itself endlessly. The communities and relationships that form around abundance consciousness have a different quality than those based on scarcity or transaction. They are held together not by need or fear, but by the recognition of shared essence. In these relationships, each person's abundance supports everyone else's abundance. Success becomes celebration rather than competition. Another person's joy becomes your joy because you know at the deepest level that there is only one consciousness expressing through many forms. Your birthright is not something you must claim through struggle or prove through achievement. It is what you are, what you have always been, what you could never stop being, even if you tried. You are an expression of the same infinite creativity that spins galaxies into existence and guides the migration of birds across vast oceans. You are the universe becoming conscious of itself through human form, temporarily forgetting its unlimited nature in order to experience the joy of remembering. This remembering is not a one-time event, but an ongoing awakening that deepens and stabilizes over time. Each moment offers a fresh opportunity to recognize your true nature as abundance itself. Each breath offers a chance to align more completely with the generous spirit that breathes you